Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun. And so I just wanted to give you guys a channel update, really just talking about creating value, hopefully creating value for you, for creating value for me. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to break down my thought process with that. Hopefully, this video is less than 10 minutes long, but I do tend to ramble. But yeah, you guys deserve an update since I have missed the past few ticker request lives, and I've been experimenting with some things with the channel, also with my life outside of the channel. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to share some thoughts, some things I am going to be changing. And so, with that being said, I've just got two slides here, or one more after this one. But yeah, I just wanted to go over some of the stuff on here, really beginning with algorithms. And that, I think we're all aware of the fact that algorithms trade stocks. They control a lot of our lives, whether that's in the stock market or not. Google searches, whatnot, algorithms, Facebook feeds, whatever. There are algorithms everywhere, and they exploit our emotions, whether that is to get us to click something or get us to want to buy or FOMO into something or sell at the bottom. Algorithms are everywhere. And I think that viewers of this channel are probably aware of that in the stock market. But they're also going on in YouTube. And one thing that I've noticed, actually, not with Ride, that was Lordstown Motors, a stock that I held a while ago, 2020, 2021, sometime around there. They ended up, I believe, going bankrupt, or at least were delisted. I held them down for a long time and then cut losses, which was a good decision, but I did have to accept some losses. And yeah, that is kind of a reminder to me of the fact that stocks can go to zero. And with the channel, when I was starting to grow it a little over a year ago, one thing that I would do, I vividly remember this on a lunch break at work. I just kind of scanned which stocks are up a lot today, which stocks are down a lot today, and I saw that Fisker was down a lot. I think 20%, something like that on the day. And I thought, hey, I'm going to cover Fisker. I'm sure a lot of people are curious about my thoughts on it. And, I'll just provide some feedback on it. And those videos were really successful. And that's because of the algorithms exploiting our emotions, both on YouTube and in the market. And so, we saw the stock that was down a lot, and we wanted somebody to say, hey, there's hope. It might go higher. There might be a dip buying opportunity, stuff like that. But it just continued to bleed. And I initially was not holding it, but because I was making videos on it, and it's like, well, it's been bleeding for the past month or two. It can't go down much lower. And I started to acquire some shares, which was, initially a very, very small position. If you guys know the way I trade, usually I trade pretty small initially, but then if something goes down, I ended up growing the position, which is not necessarily the best way to trade because you can be holding bleeder stocks that die. And so, yeah, Fisker, I believe, announced bankruptcy. They were delisted. I did have some videos out on that expressing my concern. And yeah, that was ultimately a very bad decision to be getting into that. And, that was really based on my desire to grow this channel on YouTube, trying to understand market psychology, people wanting some hope on a stock like that. And, those algorithms got the best of, all of us because I was able to grow the channel on stocks like that. But I just don't think that's good. I don't think that's healthy. And I don't think that's a good way to be creating value. Another stock that's similar to that is Biora Therapeutics. I started covering that because I held it, and that, has a similar story of Fisker that, it was delisted, and I could have exited at break even. I remember maybe a year ago, but I didn't. I held, and I ended up losing a good amount of money on that, which started as a very small position. Same with Fisker, same with Lordstown Motors. And so, with that being said, I have been covering some of these stocks, a number of stocks that I do cover. The ones that stand out to me are going to be ChargePoint, Plug Power, and Luminar Technologies. Those are three stocks that I worry, I have concerns that they could follow the path of these three above here, that they have been bleeding, they have been trading below downtrends, and they could potentially go to zero. So, covering both ChargePoint and Plug, deciding that, I'm going to exit those with Luminar, I'm just not buying any more shares, but I do look forward to, getting out of all of these. And actually Plug, I no longer have a position in that. I just don't think that covering stuff that just bleeds and covering stuff on a weekly basis that's bleeding is good for anybody. And Plug is one that, it's like, oh, well, I haven't gotten that many views. I know, Plug looks interesting. The chart looks interesting. Maybe there's a bounce in inverse head and shoulders, something, I don't know. And I should note, I am not a professional trader. I'm a retail trader just like you guys. We are all dumb money. We fall into the traps of the algorithm's emotions. And, I'm trying not to do that. And that's kind of the goal of this channel, is to get away from that kind of stuff. But for a while, it's like, well, I'll follow up on Plug. I'm sure people want to hear my perspective. And, I want to hear my perspective. I want to dive into the chart and see, where I think it could be going. And that has really just not been that successful. But at the same time, though, this video here, could just be my capitulation on these stocks, and maybe the bottom is in. Crypto is ripping over the weekend. There might be a trade deal with China, and we could be seeing new all-time highs very soon. And these could be ripping faces off. Who knows? But I feel like at least one of these three is probably going to be following the path of these three. So I just think that's good to be cautious of. And, rather than just doing videos on a specific ticker and then trying to follow up on that, I feel like it's actually better to be diving into a broader market perspective. And so that is something that I have been doing more recently with pre-market prep, which kind of expanded from Ticker Request Live, which in all honesty, it's really tough to. It's been a tough few weeks not doing Ticker Request Live. It happened to be on Sunday, which was Easter. I did not do Ticker Request Live, and then I just got in the habit of not doing it. And with it being summer here, when I start Ticker Request Live, which is usually at 9 p.m. Eastern, that's 8 p.m. where I'm at. The sun's still up, and I'm trying to work on a lot of projects outside. And so like Ticker Request Live just really doesn't work for me, at least not with that time. And also, with my work schedule. So I have some ideas that create value for both you and me, whether you're a subscriber or a new viewer of the channel. And then also for me. And before I dive into this stuff down here, a couple things I want to note just about myself in this channel. So, I started this channel as just a trading journal for myself. I was, getting over a breakup, having a tough time with that. I was also getting over, a failed YouTube channel that I have. My background is in oceanography. I'm an oceanographer, studied climate science, and I had a channel on that. But I viewed that channel, looking back, I view it as, there were a lot of people that, supported the idea of it, but did not actually partake, really just like a virtue signaling type of thing. And that channel failed. And so I kind of created this studio, and it's like, well, how can I utilize that? I'll start this channel to do like a personal trading journal. Started going over AMC, natural gas, and that was a lot of fun for me. And then it expanded into, initially I kind of started doing this like Ticker Request Live on Sundays. And that was just a great way to connect with you guys, get trade ideas, stock ideas, give you my perspective casually over a drink. Again, I am not a professional trader, so it's just like getting another perspective from a buddy at a bar. That's kind of how I viewed Ticker Request Live. another thing before I ramble on beyond about me, I want to just mention one other thing as far as creating value. In addition to documenting trades and just diving deeper into the charts, which is helpful for me with trading. Let's see. I was thinking, well, maybe I can monetize this channel, make a little bit of money in it. I was not able to do that with my other channel just because people would subscribe to the channel, but they wouldn't actually watch, stuff like that, which I think is a common occurrence with YouTube channels. But anyways, like over a year ago, I was able to monetize the channel, make a little bit of money with it. But like a year ago, I remember February of last year, it being the shortest month of the year, I put out at least 3 videos a day. I was just cranking them out because I wanted to get the channel to be monetized. And I was able to accomplish that. But I was able to do that by when I come home from work, the first thing I do is make videos. The last thing I do before I go to bed is make videos. And it was just like my life for a year. And it wasn't sustainable. And I've kind of realized, like going back to, what I was saying about this with the algorithms exploiting our emotions, the way that I was able to get views was by, hey, something's pumping, people want me to talk about it going higher, or hey, something's dumping, people want me to talk about it bottoming and bouncing. But really, I think the most value in stocks is actually like really boring. It's finding a bottom, charting out levels, and waiting for a break. Or when it does break, wait for a retest. And then, that is the time to enter. And, this channel just hasn't really been that supportive or conducive to me exercising good behaviors like being disciplined and stuff. And with the channel being monetized, YouTube has a threshold to getting paid that if you hit $100, you'll get paid that for that month. But if you don't hit $100, that will just carry over to the next month until you get up to $100. Whereas on X, I have seen people posting that they get paid out, $20, something like that. And, YouTube's a little bit different. It's $100, and so far this year, so I got paid about $100 in January for videos that I had put out from 2024. And then now I am about to get paid like basically another $100 in May for the content that I've produced over the past 4 months. And so really just like I had thought of this channel as, a nice way to make a little bit of money complementing trading. But if it's getting me to like exercise bad behavior and it's really just kind of like an insignificant amount of money, it's a nice little bonus, I should not focus on that. I should kind of abandon trying to make money with YouTube and just try to make content that supports good trading and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I'm probably just going to be putting out fewer videos and I will be doing more live streams and a weekly video on crypto. So I'll go over these things in a minute here. But yeah, I want to create value for us by creating good content, by being disciplined, by taking profits, by cutting losses, by having stop losses, by trimming with a plan to exit, all of that stuff, and doing videos on, let's say, Fisker on a weekly basis. Because what I was doing, basically, the way that I grew the channel was by, okay, this video got 100 views last week. I'm going to do a follow-up the following week. And I would just do that until it dropped below 100 views, and then I'd move on to something else. And, the videos that get a lot of views are like the pump and dump type of stuff or the bleed to nothing type of stuff. The videos that I find most useful, there was one on Wolfspeed that I put out like a month or 2 ago, and like nobody watched it. And then it was pumping recently, and somebody on X was asking for, thoughts on Wolf, and I shared the link to the video and also shared that, I had calls, I just took profits. And that person had just entered a position. And yeah, so I mean, I just think that there's like a lot of really bad behavior related to social media, the community, all of that and stuff. We need to be supportive of each other when we enter and exit trades, when we cut losses, and having a strategy for cutting losses if stuff does bleed lower than we are thinking. And so rather than doing the weekly videos, I think that actually doing a daily stream will be much better for all of us. And so what I've kind of been experimenting with is pre-market prep. I haven't really nailed down the right time for it just because, I work a full-time job. I'm also working on projects around the house, whether that's in the yard or the house itself. And working on the channel here. I don't really have much of a social life. And so it's really tough to be putting this stuff together, to be having the energy for it. But these streams, it is a nice way to have kind of a social life and to share ideas. But with these pre-market preps, with my schedule at work, I work a 1-2 rotation. So it's like I work first shift one week, then the next week I work second shift. And so last week I worked second shift. So I was able to do a live stream of a pre-market prep. And the week before, I wasn't able to live stream for pre-market preps, so I just pre-recorded them during pre-market and posted them. So I'd be waking up at like 4 in the morning to make a video, post it, then go to work, and I'd just be exhausted. Halfway through my shifts, I basically crash when I come home. It's just not sustainable. So rather than doing pre-market preps every weekday, I'm going to do pre-market prep and post-market preps based on what my schedule is. So last week I did pre-market preps, tried to do them at 8:15 a.m. Eastern. Sometimes I'm a little late, really just because I'm waiting for coffee to finish brewing. But that's, Monday through Friday. And then next week I'm going to be on first shift. So I'm going to have a tough time doing pre-market prep. But what I could do is post-market prep. Rather than Monday through Friday, I could do that Sunday through Thursday. So kind of like Ticker Requests Live. So that might be, ending, at least for the time being, just with projects outside and all of that stuff. But, there are new, rainbows, horizons, whatever, yeah, and so I think that this could be a really nice way for me to go over kind of broader market stuff. I really like the UVIX or the VIX, the volatility index. I think that's a really nice thing to consider. I do have a small UVIX position right now that is probably going to be pretty in the red, I imagine. I did not short the S&P 500 though, so I feel good about that. But yeah, just going over the S&P 500, specifically the SPY, and glimpsing at the SPX as well, just to kind of get perspective on those, and then talking about swings, largely commodities, but also some stocks. But in between there, I also do go over Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin, but just on like a casual daily basis. And then if there is time at the end of those streams, I will take requests. I try to end these at 9 a.m. So I can watch Gareth Soloway's game plan, get ready for the market. But the past couple of days, there have been some requests towards the end, and I've carried on missing the first part of his live stream, the game plan, but then I just start it from the beginning after this stream ends to take some requests to go over what you guys, are requesting that I go over. And so what I am going to be doing moving forward, starting tomorrow, I will be doing a post-market prep. Maybe I'll change the name of that. I don't really like it, but I don't think it should be pre-market prep because it's not during the pre-market. But maybe it will just be pre-market and I'll just have a nighttime theme. I don't know. But I'll be doing that rather at 9 p.m. Eastern, which is 8 p.m. for me. The sun's still up. I'm wrapping up projects or eating dinner, whatnot. I'll do that at 10 p.m. Eastern. And so I'm going to start by going over the volatility, the S&P 500, crypto, swings, and then I'll open it up for requests. I'll probably only be able to do that for an hour because I have work the following morning. But I think that could be a nice way for us to connect every day of the week. So starting tomorrow, Sunday through Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern. I'll be doing these streams, and I will have the chat hidden from me initially, so I don't get distracted by it. And then once I do go over this stuff, I'll open it up so I can go over some requests. And I'll try to post links to these the day before, whether it's pre-market prep the night before or post-market prep. I'll probably do it in the morning or maybe after I get home from work in the afternoon. I'll post a link to them so you guys can post in the chat there what your requests are, and then I can go over them. And then for myself, I have been doing Crypto Corner Sat Stacker the past few weeks, just having fun with Satoshis, sats, stacking them, being kind of boring, but just going over my thesis on the crypto market in general. Really helpful for me if you guys are interested in crypto. There are going to be timestamps on those so you can skip to the different tickers. But if you're not, that's fine. I'm just going to be doing that for myself, creating value for myself, which hopefully is useful for you guys. Just going over basically my trades with crypto, which are not really that exciting, but I think that's, the way to do this. If things are exciting, that is, our emotions getting the best of us, and that is not good. So yeah, that's more or less what I wanted to say about this stuff with this presentation here, but a couple other things that I wanted to note before ending this related to Ticker Request Live, which to be honest is like really, really tough for me. I love TRL because, I grew up watching Total Request Live with Carson Daly on MTV. And I just think that TRL, Ticker Request Live, is just like, a really fun thing, a creative thing that I'm really proud of. And if I do flip over to X, we can see on my profile, my pinned tweet, that like this is, really tough for me because I'm going to be changing this. But I posted that on October 8th of 2023. I've been having fun with this. YouTube /@dgen_ed. We'll be streaming weekly on Sundays at 9 p.m. Eastern if you want to join. And so I have to say, thank you so much to all of you for connecting with me via the channel. But I think that, the channel needs to evolve. Otherwise, there are going to be more Fiskars, there's going to be more Bioras, and potentially, we're looking at those with ChargePoint, with Plug, and with Luminar. And I don't want that. I want to be getting better at trading. I want to be, encouraging good behavior. And I don't think that I've necessarily been doing that with the channel. And so I kind of want to step that up. And also, a thing that I have been experimenting with a little bit, I have been like shitposting, trolling a little bit more on X because, I was struggling to get above 800 followers before, but I'm just trying to be a little bit more active because I'm intrigued by the possibility that growing the channel on X and to see if that I could monetize it there. I'm intrigued because it's not $100 payout. It can be a $20 payout, something like that. And I definitely have a long way to go before I get there, but that's definitely something that I want to be experimenting with. And continuing with like the experimentation of posts and stuff like that, if we do flip over to the channel to look at the posts tab here, this is, my view of the channel. But if you do click over at the tabs on the posts, and actually, well, before I go over to the posts, I might want to just mention the live streams. So yeah, there have been a lot of live streams, and actually YouTube recently changed, I believe, the way that streams get monetized. These used to be total duds for me, but they're actually getting a little bit better. And so, I want to lean into that because I just think that it's better for us to have more engagement in the chat, to be sharing ideas. And so I'm going to be continuing to do that with, this thumbnail, including the tickers on those there. But that's probably going to be evolving as I get more familiar with it. But yeah, the last time that I did Ticker Request Live was April 13th. And it's kind of... it's kind of tough to think about that. And, the videos that I've been doing, I've really toned them down, but Crypto Corner, the last one I did was on AMC. And by the way, I do think that AMC GameStop GameStop, those really just based on GameStop and maybe AMC is getting ready to break out. I think that there is a lot of hope there, but I think that it's not really constructive to just be going on over and over and over. And like, I had done some videos on Unity. This is a very comprehensive video, 47 minutes long, only 90 views. This one on Tesla, only 17 views. So, I really just want to be leaning into the stuff that's helpful for me. And this is helpful for me. It's only gotten 7 views, but I think it's really good content. But anyways, the video is probably just going to be mainly Crypto Corner, Sats Stacker every Saturday, and then the live here pre-market preps or post-market preps. But regarding the posts, since I'm not going to be covering so much stuff anymore because I just don't have time for it, and I don't think that it's the best. This is a 25-minute video, and I was trying to do it for under 10 minutes, man. But I'm going to try to share some videos, and if you guys do like this stuff, if you want some AMC coverage, for example, make sure you like it. Let me know that you like these posts. I also shared one. This is from Free Wyckoffs, which is Roaring Rico or Rico. I think that he's a really great analyst, focuses on Wyckoff theory, and he's been putting out some more videos. So, got to support his channel as well. He did one recently on Hycroft. I know that some of you guys are interested in that, so I wanted to share that. But no likes on either of those. I did post the Trading the Close from Gareth Soloway's channel. Whether it's Gareth Soloway or this guy here, who's Drew Dosick, I think that they do really great analysis. They're really good communicators. And so if you guys want me to share stuff like this, gives kind of market overviews, crypto, swing trades, stuff like that, I'd be happy to do that. But if I don't see likes on the posts, I'm probably not going to be doing that. And like these, so I probably won't be posting anymore from Free Wyckoffs. And then, this, I was just excited about Crypto Corner. And, Ethereum's really taken off. So, I feel pretty excited about that. This is something on Bitcoin from Strike. Nobody liked that. That's cool. But this is something that I did, just about a week ago on Sunday when I was actually at a basketball game. So I said, if this gets 10 votes, I'll do Ticker Request Live tonight. Haven't been feeling it lately, but I'll do it if it gets the votes. And so in total, it only got 4 votes, 100% on the Do It. So that's great. Thank you guys for voting. Thanks for the like. But, I didn't end up getting the votes. There's just not, the channel is just a little too small. And so I need to do what works for me in it. Posted something on Star Wars and, movies and stuff. Nobody cared about that. But this is, one of the things that, has kind of been making me realize, what I'm doing with the channel and really what people are looking for, coming back to the algorithms here, the exploitation of motions. I got 5 votes here. One vote was, I should, read what the poll was. Should I do a general stock/channel update video this evening, casually going over my thoughts in the market? That's effectively what I'm doing right now. And so to read more, I don't feel like the return on investment, like the return on investment and making videos, daily videos, is worth the trouble. So trying to explore other ideas that create more value for myself and viewers, that is what this video is about. And so I got 5 votes. 4 were saying do it. I appreciate the vote. Sorry I didn't do it that night, 11 days ago, but I just needed to gather my thoughts. But what was kind of discouraging is that somebody, voted, no, pump the next multi-bagger. And so, I really just don't want to be doing that because maybe people are able to make some money with that. But stuff like that, the next multi-bagger, the stock that's pumping, that's going to probably create more bag holders than it's going to be creating multi-bagger positions. And so I'm just not interested in that stuff. I want to be making videos that encourages good activity in the markets, whether that's for myself, whether it's for you, the subscriber, the casual viewer. And I'm just really not interested in getting views because views are the exploitation by an algorithm that's the same algorithm that's exploiting us in the market. And so I don't like that. But yeah, I mean, coming back to this, um, I hope that with this channel, I am creating value for you guys. I'm sorry, it's been tough. You know, I share too much personal stuff on the channel. I don't necessarily think so, but yeah, I mean, it's just I've been having a pretty tough time this year, and really excited about the market. Really excited about what's going on there. But just as far as the channel and my time management. You know, I experienced a major career change following the pandemic, and I just haven't found my footing yet. I thought this channel might be that, but I think actually trading is that, and I just need to lean more into my good practices, my good behaviors, and try to relate that to you guys with, you know, the pre-market preps, maybe post-market preps, or maybe that's just going to be pre-market prep with you know, a darker thumbnail, and then crypto corner stacker. And if some stocks like AMC, GameStop stuff starts moving, you know, maybe I would offer some perspective on that. But I just think that, you know, it's good to be finding swings. That's what I want to be focusing on. In and out trades, making some money, stacking gains, and cutting losses. And I haven't been doing that. And I think that we should all be getting better at that and creating value. But anyways, thank you all so much if you did watch the entire video. But you know, as always, those are just my thoughts. If you did find them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more content, trying to create value for you guys, for me, and yeah, just trying to have fun while doing it. Thank you so much for being here with me. Yeah, I mean, it's tough accepting that ticker request live is probably a thing of the past, at least for the summer, because last summer I didn't get enough projects done outside, and I need to prioritize that this year, and prioritize mental health and all that. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing wonderful. I hope you're having a great weekend, and if you're a mother, or if you're not a mother, you got a mother, happy Mother's Day, and yeah, I'm excited to see where this next chapter takes us. Thank you so much for being here. Take care, you guys.